Hello everyone, I'm Anthony Sensenbach, and this is Petunia. She is a spiny leaf insect, one of two. Picket is in here. They're both female, mature enough to lay eggs, but not their max size, even though she's very big. So these two are just here to do things while I talk. Now, I know a lot of people are completely freaked out by bugs and most other wild animals, which is normal. It's in our DNA to be afraid of things that look dangerous simply out of self-preservation. But it also goes the other way around. There really aren't animals that are inherently evil. Yeah, they might want to hurt you as like a form of self-defense or food, but neither of those are really a problem. Then they just won't deal with you. As you can see with Petunia here, she has a lot of spikes and she looks like a leaf. This is just camouflage so that predators will leave her alone. She's just built scary so that things don't eat her. She actually, a lot of people do wonder if they sting or bite. This is not a stinger. And she can't bite. The only thing she can bite is leaves. And she is a member of the phasmid group, which also includes like stick bugs, which you've probably seen in science classrooms before. Yeah, there's a lot of different kinds of phasmids, you'd be surprised. And they're pretty widespread, mostly all over the world, except Antarctica, of course. And funny enough, some of them look exactly like leaves and others look like little lobsters, which is why some of them are called tree lobsters. Which, speaking of, most of them aren't really extinct or endangered or come close. There's some species of stick insect that are like only endemic to one island, and that's why they're endangered. But one, which is called the tree lobster, that's its nickname, almost went extinct because on a group of islands between New Zealand and Australia called Lord Howe Island, people used to use them as bait for fishing. And, like 1920s, they couldn't find a single adult. 1964, a group of climbers on a smaller island called Ball's Pyramid found some recently dead ones, and then even later, in 2001, researchers only found 24 living under one shrub on a cliffside. It's always heartbreaking to see another species go extinct, but that's just kind of the world we live in now. And I'm not going to do the whole global warming thing that most people have already seen 100 times. But the reality is that we're in the 6th mass extinction. And we're the cause of it. The thing that wiped out the dinosaurs, yeah, that was a mass extinction, and we're in one right now. Funny enough, humans a while ago actually survived a mass extinction, and now we've gone on to cause one of our own. And for the most part, with how things are going, there's not much we can do to avoid eventually just kind of making our species and others suffer until we're all dead. There, of course, is a ton of conservation groups and cleanup crews and all those kinds of things, but without the majority doing anything, it's gonna be really, really hard to make things work for ourselves, to be able to live comfortably in the future without suffocating. And that just kind of goes with day-to-day life. I mean, it's hard to get out of the cycle of day-to-day life. I mean, if you stop going to work, then, you don't get money, you don't get food, you don't have a place to live. And if you don't work in, like, a conservation thing, first off, they don't get paid that much, and most of the time it's volunteer stuff, so they don't get paid at all. We're just in a state where we can't really do anything, and only the few that have sacrificed a lot of just comforts, they aren't going to be able to completely help us. Oh yeah, and by the way, we're running out of time. I think the research says, like, in 50 years, if we can't get our act together, it's gonna be too damaged to fix. Part of me is kind of hoping that if we don't get our act together, that somehow we'll just end up causing our own demise of some sort, just so that life can kind of start over. Most people have seen Jurassic Park, the first movie. It's one of my favorite sayings, life finds a way. And I always kind of laugh when people think that, like, oh, if we don't, protect the environment, the entire world's gonna end. No, it's not. If we're gone, life is still gonna continue after us. It's always done that. After every mass extinction, there's always a big boom in new species and diversity, and it's going to continue to happen until, some cosmic catastrophe, like the next 6 or something billion years when our sun is going to expand and swallow us whole. Or runaway greenhouse effect, which we could cause, but I don't know, I doubt that humans could do something that powerful. If you're ever wondering, that's what happened to Venus. Venus used to be probably similar to an early Earth, but runaway greenhouse effect, too much CO2 in the atmosphere, and now it's hell. But with all that being said, there is still a lot you can do to make things less miserable for our future generations and us. I mean, not doing anything will make things so much worse, so much faster. Since everyone needs volunteer hours to graduate, I know I definitely do, you can volunteer to help clean up forests or beaches, parks, any of those, just even around your neighborhood. And if you think you have any interest in science, go for it. Because almost every field of science is going to help in some way. Sorry, she's just misbehaving a little bit. So actually, if you can see what she's doing right there, it's just kind of a pose that she does where she's trying to act like a leaf so that I don't eat her, even though I'm not going to, of course. Camera's not focusing, but whatever. Anyways, yeah, so if you have interest in a scientific field, go for it. Especially like an environmental field will definitely help, but any kind of engineering, you can help make, more efficient cars and planes and things like that. Astronomy is a great thing to go into right now. If you're ever interested in bugs, animals, you can become an entomologist, which is insects, a herpetologist, which is reptiles, ornithologist, birds. You can become a marine biologist. I don't remember what the one for animals is. Or mammals. Just kind of those bigger things, but then there's small things, of course, you can do too, which I'm sure many people have heard, recycle, try to create less trash, reuse stuff if you can. One thing I always do is if I get a Gatorade or a drink like that that's in a plastic container, I just reuse that as a water bottle. For the most part, I'm pretty sure all of those are recyclable, but you can still just use it as a... Oop, what are you doing? Well, you can still just use it as a water bottle for a little bit. It helps just... You don't have to buy plastic water bottles or anything like that. She's getting a little bit feisty. If you feel like you can do tinkering of any kind, or you want to try to make things, one thing that really sucks right now is batteries. We have terrible batteries. Fossil fuels are they're pretty easy to get for the most part, other than we're running out. And, they're easy to store because it's a liquid for the most part. So if you can figure out a better way to store electricity, you honestly can probably save humans as a whole and make a ton of money while doing it. I definitely believe in this generation to be the ones that can do that. I feel like we have a lot of really just talented people that can do that. Yeah, and there's plenty more little things you can do, but I don't remember all of them off the top of my head. Just because we are kind of failing at most things in terms of conserving what we have right now, a lot of people are really just depressed because it's like, well, what are we gonna do? What can we do? I just gave you some ideas what you can do, but just not giving up. Yeah, just don't call it quits yet. We still, like I said, we have 50 years left to try and fix what previous generations and some of our own have done. And making things better now will make life when we're older a lot better. Because basically what's going to end up happening is we're not going to have a lot of resources and we're going to end up suffocating. And I mean, look how cute she is. You don't want to see her go, do you? Except the camera's not focusing. Also, totally not an ad, but if you want one of these for yourself, just pooped on my computer. If you want one of these for yourself, I have probably around 80 eggs. I mean, well over half of them I've already had to kill because I just can't raise that many. But if you want one, I can reserve... Hi, sweetheart. She wants to grab onto my face. I don't know why, but Petunia really likes my face, and I have no clue. She does this. And when I hold her, she reaches for my face. But, yeah, so if you want one of these, I have a lot of eggs. And I can reserve one. Of course, I have to raise them until they're old enough to be handled by other people. And, oh God, you're spiky. Yeah, until they're old enough and strong enough to be handled by other people, they're very delicate when they're young. They're still delicate now, but much less. So I'll put my email probably down here somewhere. So let me know if you're interested. Warning, they do get big. She's, I don't know, probably 7 inches? I don't know, 6 inches? She's big. Yeah. Oh. Bye. What do you think about that, Pickett? What do you think about that, Petunia? How come you always like to get on my face, huh? Yeah. Also, if you want to know what you're going to be dealing with, that's what taking care of these looks like. Here, Pill. Hey! You a good girl? I love you! She's fat.